This video is specifically targeted to everyone out there who is under the age of 30, since that is the age I am. But obviously, if you're older than that, this might also be interesting to you. But in any case, I want to tell you how, for somebody who's 30 years old, the scary thing about growing older isn't seeing wrinkles on my face next to my eyes. It's not so scary to be a little bit more tired than I was 10 years ago. It's not so scary to become weaker physically or have gray. Is that you can always look at someone like Sylvester Stallone and you can see that he's like almost in his 80s now and he's still kicking ass. He's still in good shape and he's still just awesome. And I don't think there's anything scary for a man about the physical age per se. But the scary thing about getting older is this. When you realize that you turn 31 years old in a couple of months, and you realize that now it's 2024, and then you think about the things that you have been dreaming about since your 20s. You think about what you actually thought you might have and where you might be when you are 30. When you start to think about those things, and you see that you did not achieve those dreams, and then you realize that the reason why you did not achieve those dreams is that you did not take action. And then you realize that it's been 10 years. You realize, I will give you an example. I will give a very specific example here. 2016, I went to a game industry event because I was in the university studying game development. I was working on a mobile game on my own, completely my own, on my spare time, in addition to the university studies. And in 2016, I went to this game industry event and I was showcasing this mobile game prototype. And I was talking with people in the industry. I was shaking hands. I was setting up calls. I was doing all these things. And it all felt so amazing because, that's what business is, right? You have a product and you're developing the product and you're shaking hands with these people who have money and all this. Like the hustle and the bustle is just amazing. And that was in 2016. And guess what's going on with the mobile game now? Well, nothing. Absolutely nothing, because I never finished that game. And why did I never finish that game? Because I would procrastinate. I would work on the game for like 1 week or 2 weeks, and then I would stop working on it because I would feel anxious and bored with it. So instead, I would play video games, I would watch anime, I would consume pornography, I would do these sorts of things. And now it's 2024. It's 8 years later. And that event, it feels like yesterday. And back then, I thought I have all the time in the world. And I did have, actually, all the time in the world, but I wasted it because I thought I have the time to waste. Well, guess what? When you waste all the time for 8 years, you get nowhere. So now I'm in a situation where I never finished the game, and now my life is so different that I have like 10 times less time than I had back then. Because I didn't have to study every day all the time back then. Now I have to work 8 hours a day. And then certainly these are choices of mine that I have made, but I live in the countryside. And as you can see in this video, I am gathering firewood for the winter. And then I have to mow the lawn, and then I'm doing gardening with my girlfriend. And there's so many different things. And I am in a relationship, so the relationship also takes time, which I love my relationship and it's amazing. But the point is, I have only a fraction of the time I had 8 years ago, because 8 years ago I was living in a one-person tiny city apartment, and I had nothing to do except go to school a few hours a day, work on a couple of assignments maybe, and then I could have used at least 8 hours every day, probably, working on the game project, but I didn't. So this is pretty much just a warning for all the young people out there that if you think you have time, then, well, guess what? You don't. You're going to be 30 before you know it. You're going to look back, and the one advice I can give, like, there's two things you should aim for in your life, in my opinion, at this point. You should try to create something and achieve something meaningful, but the other important thing, because this world, this life is not just about making money and having success and all these things. The other thing is making memories. Because at that time, like I said, I played video games, I watched anime, I watched porn. I did not go out to meet real people and do real things with real people, other than with my high school friends. I went to the lake cabin and I saw them there, and we had fun and we played board games and all these. But I could have gone out into parties. I could have gone out into more events. Thank God I went to those game industry events, because now I have the memories from there. But in any case, it is so important to make memories, because the more memories you have, the more you have lived, and the better you have spent that time. So for example, this past year is full of memories because I have done so many things with my girlfriend. Because luckily she's the type of person who likes to do all kinds of different things. We go outside and we explore the world together and create memories. So as an example, this past year, it's a lot more rich than the year before, or the year before that, or the year before that, because a lot of my years in my 20s, I literally just sat inside my little apartment watching anime, watching Twitch streams, watching porn, or playing video games, and dreaming about doing something, but never actually doing something. So I was a dreamer and not a doer. And that's why in my 20s, there's a big, huge chunk of time that has now just disappeared into thin air. It doesn't even exist in memories in my head, because I didn't do anything special. So I didn't create anything meaningful. I did not leave a mark on this world in my 20s. I didn't do any of those things. And maybe that would be fine. Maybe that is fine, because I'm still living a good life. Now I live in the countryside. You know, I have achieved some of my dreams because I followed the basic path, at least, which was to get a job in the IT, technology industry, basically, which I knew would have many job opportunities and I would get a decent pay. And that is all true. And because I made at least that one good basic decision, I now have a basic life where I can afford to live in the countryside and drive a car and explore the world with the car, with my girlfriend, and so on. So I live a good life, sure. But it comes back to haunt me here and there when I realize that in my 20s, when I realize I still want to finish that mobile game from 8 years ago, but I don't know when I have the time. Unless I somehow break free of the 8-hour day job. Or maybe in the winter when I have less things to do outside, maybe then I can work on the game again. I do not know. But when I think about it and I think back to my 20s where I had all the time in the whole freaking world, I had so much time, dude. And I wasted it all. That haunts me. And that's why I have to do something in my 30s. That's why I'm making these videos. That's why I'm trying to figure out what I could do that would feel meaningful. And also I will create more and more memories with my friends and my girlfriend in the process. I am trying to live a more rich life in my 30s than I did in my 20s. But this is a warning to all the young guys out there. Please don't live a life where you will feel regret. Create memories and try to create something meaningful as well. In addition to that, try to make your dreams realities. And if you suffer with things like porn addiction or video game addiction or sense of meaninglessness, you struggle to find meaning and path in life, then feel free to subscribe to this channel. I will do my best to provide you with some tips and some ideas for how you might find meaning in life. That's the whole point of this channel, to be honest. I want to try to help people with porn addiction specifically because it was a big part of my life. And also, as I am growing and evolving as a man, and I am less and less afraid of voicing my own opinions and all this, I can be perhaps something of a leader in the future to the younger generations, which is always cool. I think that's one really good goal for men, to be honest, to aspire to become some sort of a leader to the younger generations, because that's what we have. We have experience. The older guys, we have experience. I know it's funny, I'm 30 and I say I'm an older guy, but in a sense I am. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for dedicating your time. Your time is so precious, which is the whole point of this video, that your time is really precious. So thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Now, bye bye and have a blessed day.